single?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
A lot of she could answer that for me.
A lot of different reasons.
Why is she single then?
Because every guy is too.
Every guy is what?
She's too pretty for them.
Oh, you're too pretty for who?
For the guys.
For the ex-boyfriends.
Why? Why are you too pretty for them?
I didn't say that. You could ask me.
I said that.
Why?
Because she brings a lot of qualities into a relationship that not a lot of guys value.
Which is?
I don't know, her sense of humor. No, I'm not. Her sense of humor, her hardworking. She's responsible. Those are great qualities.
But as a man, what do you bring to a relationship?
I bring everything. A girl does not have to work if she lives with me. I'm just telling you. Like,
Why didn't you think we want to work?
if you want to work, you're more than welcome to. But if you don't have to, if you don't want to.
That's good. If there's an option, we can do it.
You mad at the wrong person. That man ruined your day. Okay? Pay attention to patterns.
It will behoove you to make sure that y'all are, on the same page and make sure that she's in a great headspace. And if she's not, you getting to the bottom of why that is. Because when a relationship fails as a man, that's on you. That's on you. Because with the leadership comes great responsibility. I can't, as a quarterback of a football team, go in front of the podium and we lose. And then I say, well, yeah, if the defense would have played better, or if the receivers would have caught the ball, or if the running back wouldn't have fumbled, we would have won. I can't go in front of the podium and say that. I got to go up in front of that podium and say, hey, we have to do a better job. This loss is on me. I could have had a perfect game. But as the leader, you can't go up in front of that podium and point fingers when things don't go right. It's the same thing in your relationship. You are the leader of that relationship. If it goes left, that's on you. That is a reflection of your leadership.
So my best friend and I were talking the other day, right? She lives 5 hours away, the audacity to move that far away from me. I'm like, I don't think there's any good men left in this world, because I can back up a boat trailer, loaded or empty. Y'all know that's two different things. I can polish off a 12-pack. Don't be buying me no beer and showing up with a 6-pack. That's just enough to piss me off. I fry my own chicken. Good kind. I pay my own bills. I take care of my youngin'. And I get up and go to work every day. And I come home and I do it all over again. All these men these days are acting like the women. And all the men these days want everything handed to them. And all the women these days are having to act like the man and hand everything to the man. What the hell?
Sam lying. There ain't no single fine man with no kids that got everything together that's looking for a single woman with no kids that got all her shit together. Sam lying. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Where you at? Let me see.
Things are going to change. Men have continue to hold women accountable. Men in America is just going to take it into their own hands to hold women accountable. And, it's no accountability. When you start talking about some of the things that women do and get away with, I've talked about women robbing and stealing from men and setting them up and robbing them, and them not going to jail, getting a slap on the wrist. We've seen situations in where, they get into, financial binds, and there's all these programs that help women out. You know what I'm saying? There's all these programs that if you didn't pay this bill, we can bail you and do absolutely nothing. So the world bails women out. The world don't hold women accountable. And they can try to spin the talk and say men ain't held. Men are always held accountable. You know what I'm saying? Men are always held accountable for their actions and stuff of that nature. But for women, the system doesn't hold them accountable. The world doesn't hold them accountable. They can make bad choices, bad decisions, and there's some way to bail them out. Even if they spread their legs, they feel like they can be bailed out. And now that you're starting to see a shift, you're starting to see a major shift in that. You're starting to see men understand that they have to take shit into their own hands hit the link in the description on the Patreon. They have to take it into their own hands to hold women accountable. And now I think most men have figured it out that your silence is your power, your presence is your power. And once women, you start to see some of these signs, or they start to be ungrateful, they start to be untitled, now you're seeing more women claiming they were ghosted. Now you start to complain about, women saying guys are not, dating, or you seeing guys eat out alone, or guys don't want families, or do guys really like women? That is just a direct effect that men had to take to hold them accountable. The churches don't hold women accountable like they used to anymore. So when you start to see it's always, nobody's going to hold women accountable, obviously you got to go straight to the consumer, and the consumer has to hold women accountable. So a lot of guys are just saying, you know what? I just don't want to play no more. I don't want to trick no more. I don't want to deal with you no more. They want to go on these vacations. They always want to spend money, but always want to spend your money. And I don't want to play no more. So now you have men holding women accountable. Right? It's always going to be simps, right? But the thing about it is women don't want simps. Because if women wanted simps, they would string simps along and then still not give them the pussy. They would give them the vagina up front, like they give the guys that they can't stand. But now it's a lot of dudes that ain't looking women's way in America. They looking outside of America. They getting passports. And then, guess what? They start, it's this typical thing. They start shaming men. Oh, you just, you ain't shit in America, and you got it. Cool. It's the shaming, and then guess what? They try to mirror what men do. They try to mirror it. Now you see women going overseas and understanding that it's traditional. When you talk about the term going Dutch, the Dutch people, they go Dutch. They split everything. When women start going around the world, they start figuring out that all the men that got money, they ain't looking for you. Only man that's willing to deal with you is for money. So all this alpha woman stuff, I got money, and that don't even keep them. So they're finding out the hard way that with this government drying up, programs going away, grants going away, government assistance drying up, and this is why they fought so hard for Kamala. This is why they ignored that Kamala wasn't a black woman. And even no matter how many receipts you had of her, being anti-black, being wrong about black stuff, doing word salad when it came to black things, no matter how many times you've seen her no matter how many times she, you can just expose her, guess what? Nobody cared about the truth. They cared about being able to delete their children. They cared about a woman being in power. They didn't care she had a Brad on her arm. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it funky. Women ignore the facts. I was talking to somebody and I was like, men make more than women. No, that's not. I said, pull up. You got ChatGPT. They want to live in a lie. Women like to live in a lie, a beautiful lie, and that's fine. But the truth is, most men don't even want women no more. They'd rather just be asexual or be by themselves. Think about that. Most men don't even value vagina like they used to. And that's the accountability that men are doing. That's the accountability, because a lot of the attention that women got, a lot of the dates that they went on just for foodie dates, or just for, to make content, or a lot of the dates they went on just to get a guy that they really didn't like to take them to a restaurant that they couldn't really afford or something like that, and not have to really give them no punani. Those were the guys, those gray area guys that are 9-to-5 plumbers, even if they make good money. Those were the guys that funded that lifestyle, that took them on dates. Pookie and Ray Ray ain't taking them on dates. They got to pay to take Pookie and Ray Ray on dates. So the only way they really getting experiences is dealing with the rest of the simps, or dealing with sugar daddies, or just straight up. Straight up. So that's just what it continues to boil down to, is that now men are now holding the women accountable. They're going straight to the source. The consumer is just saying, you know what, I'm good, bro. If I go overseas and clap cheeks for 3 months out the year, I'm good. And then now, you're really starting to see a lot of foreign women pop up. I see Russian women all the time out where I live at. And they're very beautiful, to keep it real. You starting to see, a lot of women start to mirror what black men want. See, back in the day, guess what? Having the ass, having the booty, remember Sir Mix-a-Lot in that prelude. Look at Becky, look at her butt. You know what I'm saying? Now every Becky want a butt. Oh, you got big lips. You remember they joke? Now every woman getting lip fillers. Why do you think a lot of women are starting to mirror black women and their aesthetics from the 90s and from the two? Why do you think they started to do that? They not doing that for Brad. Brad don't care nothing about no ass. You know what I'm saying? Brad don't care nothing about that. They doing it because they want black men. And I remember I made a video where that dating coach, she looked like Selma Hayek a little bit too, that got exposed, and she talking about black guys are the most desired. And there's people in the comment know that white men are only desired from the simple fact of they are seen in a position of power. They seem to have more money, and a lot of times it just boils down to money, right? But when you look at statistically, they not too far ahead of black men financially when you give them hundreds and hundreds of years head start. And this is why it's important for people to look up statistics. You start talking about the Chinese, the Japanese, the Indians, they came over there and lapped them. It ain't even close financially in their own country. But they have a bond. They stick together. They spend money together. They go eat at each other's restaurants. They buy each other products. So that's the difference. But now you have men now just saying, you know what? You charging me all of this to do this, and I really, if I do get it, you charging me all this to do this, and you giving it to them for free. I think that's what broke the system. When guys found out that women use dudes for foodie dates, I did videos of Tiffany and Dash saying this. There have been plenty of videos women saying this. When guys found out that it was guys that can just come up, hit it, they can procreate and do whatever they want to do and didn't have to do nothing, didn't get her a bottle of water, didn't have the car, didn't have to have a bus pass. She was picking them up and doing that. But you had to have all of this. You had to marry her to get a baby out of her, a possible baby out of her. And you had to do all this stuff that other men that have to do. That's when guys checked out. When that came to the forefront, that's when men checked out. When guys started to see that this guy didn't have to do none of that. He was a drug dealer, a killer, a womanizer, a DV, to continue DV and all. And they started to see that. That's what broke the system. But hey, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all. Peace.
So for me, it's women that get on the internet and act like every single problem they have is attributed to a man. Most of the problems y'all have are because of yourself. I'm 300 pounds overweight. What does that have to do with him? I'm broke. What does that have to do with him? I feel like I can't be a mother to my children. What does that have to do with him? Everywhere I go in my life, I just don't have any peace. What does that have to do with him? When women get on board and start to realize that you're responsible for 100% of the decisions you make in your life, this sort of accountability will bring a level of peace that you have never even felt before. What most of y'all don't understand, when men see you, they see a giant ball of problems. When they see a woman who doesn't take accountability for anything in her life, all they see is that blame will get put on them eventually. And that's why they don't want to deal with you. And if they do sleep with you, they don't want to marry you and deal with you long term. You're welcome for the answers to your questions.